Welcome to the Friends in Business podcast with your hosts, Ben Wright and Jemimah Ashleigh. Ben, known as the sales strategist, and Jemimah, our resident visibility expert, are here to share their wealth of knowledge and experience with a little fun along the way. Whether you're a leader, entrepreneur, or aspiring business owner, this is the podcast where we share everything we know about business to help you succeed. Let's get started. Welcome to the Friends in Business podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back, Friends in Podcast. Jemimah has lost it in the opening moments of this, so we've just had to delay kicking off. Apparently I'm making too much noise and attention seeking in the background.
I just feel like you banging a table really loudly a couple of times. I was like, do you need attention here? Have I not spoken to you enough? Are you okay? I think checking in on your colleagues is a really good idea.
I was banging the table to try and see if the camera would move with a bit of vibration under the screen, Jemimah. There was no anger or attention seeking or anything like that. You know, that's not my style. I cry when I'm upset.
Yeah, so throw things at me. Yeah,
that's definitely too much.
No, you're actually wonderful.
No,
we do tease each other a lot, but there is a lot of love.
There is a lot of love, but I think as a male, though, I'm actually very quick. If you start joking about that stuff, I'm so quick to shut it down because you just don't ever
like
want
never.
Yeah. It is so far away from me.
Yeah.
I think if I smacked my daughter, I'd break down in tears myself. Not that I do. I'm not,
never.
I'm not. Mind you, this is from someone who grew up in the days of smacking. So
my mum can throw a slipper from 50 feet and still get you.
Well, yeah, my mum has that ability to. Well, she did to break wooden spoons on my bum when I was a kid.
Yeah. We've all been. I've done a few times. My parents upgraded to the plastic one, mostly for my sister, less me.
Yeah. I think the belt was threatened, but that never quite happened in our family. There was a lot of thinking time. I once had to look at some fence palings for, oh my God, it must have been an hour or an hour and a half.
So for kid time, that's 9 years. Yeah.
It's definitely dog years. So tell me, Jemimah, anything interesting for you in the last week?
This week has been really around, we've got a really big busy time for awards at the moment. We've got a lot of awards opening and a lot of awards coming out. So a lot of finalists. So it's been a lot of phone calls going.
Yeah.
How do I know if I've won? Have I got my hair? Do I need to get my hair done? Can you wear the same dress / same suit? And can you please stop calling me? We've talked about this. No, it's just been really heavy awards time. There are awards periods across the year that it does peak quite a lot.
Yeah.
So mid-year is always wild.
Yeah, awesome. Great.
How about you? What's happening with you?
I am in a really busy period of my business. When I went to be really heavily involved in the consulting piece a few years ago, I'd always done a lot of consulting when I had my other businesses. It was a part of my life that I always enjoyed, and obviously when I sold out of those businesses, I went into full-time into this consulting business. And it's been quite a few years now, but for me, I had to work really hard in the early days around lead generation, but what I've noticed, particularly over the last 12 months, is that I work with a lot of repeat customers who come back and want more help, or existing customers who morph into the next stage of their projects. And I'm doing a lot of that at the moment. Like I am traveling, or I'm Brisbane, Gold Coast, Melbourne, Sydney at the moment.
Us managing to meet up to even have a phone call sometimes. I'm getting a plane, me too.
Yeah.
Where are you flying? Oh, we'll just high five mid-air in New Sydney.
Yeah. And it's a really busy... I try to keep myself really busy during the school terms. I drive really, really hard, and the way I've set myself up is that school holidays, I get some time with little Marley. So I end up ultimately having slightly more leave than I would if I was working for someone, but I work harder during the school term. So I have 4 lots of 10 weeks of the year where I go really hard, and then 12 weeks where I go a little bit less, or try and have 6 or so weeks off. So right now I'm right in the thick of it, doing some fantastic programs, right, all around teams building out their strategies for the year. I've got some that are focused really heavily around the sales process, that stage from lead generation through to quote, right? Really getting that needs analysis, that building value early and often, right? Got some terrific stuff happening there. Got some terrific stuff with some teams that are quite unique in their sales approaches. They're a B2C business, phone-based. and we're working really heavily on their close rates.
Yeah, great.
Really blessed with strong leads, but trying to improve their close rates.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got some other teams that are working really hard on closing out their pipeline. Their pipelines are big enough; they're just not squeezing enough out the other side.
Yeah,
which comes back to the early parts of their process not being effective enough. But yes, I'm jumping around
really
a lot of
feel like I should have expanded on the awards thing rather than being like, just get your hair and makeup done.
Well, yeah, but I think, look, for me, I mean, you helped me when it came to entering an award, the Australian Small Business Champion Awards, right, which I obviously was a finalist in. You really helped me with that. And I think proof's in the pudding there, right? It was the first award I've gone for in 5 or 6 years. And I know there was at least 5,600 applicants across my kind of stream, but I think 27,000
in total,
in total. And I mean, that's, for me, I looked at that and went, wow, great result, right? First go.
Huge.
So there you go. Proof is in. We talked about social proof last week. If you didn't hear that, episode 43, right there you go. There's some social proof for you right there. Whack that testimonial onto your onto your Google
Consider
reviews.
it done.
In fact, I did do that. So, okay, so what's on the list for today?
So I want to talk about revenue today, because one of the things that we've seen, we really saw towards the end of 2024, and really we saw interest rates go through the roof. We saw a lot of people trying to add money. We've had a lot of business going to liquidation. And as we know, and I think revenue is such an interesting, I know you and I don't struggle with this. Historically, I have, about revenue feeling like a bit of a dirty word. We just don't like talking about money. Really is quite an endemic issue in Australia, and particularly I think it's really frowned upon for women to even mention about money. So I really want to talk about revenue today and really how to increase that. We've seen some real repercussions happen in 2024 and into 2025. We've seen us come out of a recession that somehow we labelled a cost of living crisis, so that we didn't have to have government assistance on that. But let's talk about getting more money into the business.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a good prelude to this is back on episode, and I hope I'm right here, it's episode 42, I believe.
How your brain works is wild, because I can barely remember the last 3 episodes we recorded, let alone you're like, oh, just let me hear the Rolodex of episodes.
Well, I'm normally within a couple, right?
Yeah, you are.
But episode 42, we spoke about financial levers that you need to
know. For sure.
Before you get into any revenue game, I just recommend go and listen to that and get yourself on top of your financial levers, because no matter what you do from a revenue growth perspective, if you don't know some of the key underlying drivers around revenue, some of the key numbers, whatever you do can actually be harmful to your business. I have seen businesses, I have worked with businesses, and I got one in particular who was a business of about $800,000 to $1 million a year. He wanted to double in 12 months, which is great. So he's a small business, right? He was one of the smaller ones I worked with, but he wanted to grow, and we had a whole conversation about responsible revenue growth, and we set up 3 or 4 metrics for him to follow and make sure that he got them right as he was growing revenue. As the year went on, it became really obvious that he was growing revenue, but he wasn't focusing on the gross profit level, i.e. he was growing at an unprofitable level, right? So in fact, his gross profit wasn't too bad. It was his costs below that line had really ballooned.
Yeah, this is a really interesting one, because people often think the more money I get, the more money I'll have. And I'm like, well, sometimes it's not enough money for the amount of costs that you're going to incur.
Exactly right. Yeah, if your fixed costs in particular grow too significantly to support that revenue growth, you can get into a lot of trouble. And I actually remember this person, we were about 5 months into the growth period, where I said to him, you stop. We just got to stop, resize you back to where you are, because you're gonna be in big trouble. And 12 months later, I actually asked him how he's going, and he said, and he got a little bit emotional. He said, actually, still wouldn't be in business now if it wasn't for you. So thank you, right?
Totally.
So he's going well now, but I think it was a really good lesson around growth for vanity's sake, right, rather than focusing on those bottom metrics. So that's my little grey clouds, word of warning, right, as we approach winter, word of warning before we start to really dive into revenue growth. But today I'm going to talk about 3 ways to grow revenue. Now, these are not the only ways, but I will say they're the most common ways that I see businesses try to grow their revenue. And number 1 is the most obvious. It's also the most expensive, and that's to acquire new customers.
Yes.
That's to get out there, use lead generation in whatever way you do. Referral programs.
Networking events.
Digital growth, lead generation through referral partners, right? I've got a great handout. DM me if you want it. There's 30 ways you can actually grow your business through lead generation, right? So can have huge impacts. And I will say that if we're looking to move the dial on our business, like really move it, grow by 100% over the next 12 months, it almost always needs to include new customer acquisition, right? When we're stepping back to 10 to 20 to 30% growth, there are other ways we can grow without even needing any new customers. But certainly when we're looking to double that, it's new customers are the absolute panacea of revenue growth, right? But the hard part here is they can get really expensive, because often if you're needing to grow quickly, most businesses are going to move to a form of advertising, right? And that's where we come a dangerous game between its branding versus its lead generation versus the quality of leads, what's converting. But number one, if we're looking to grow our revenue, is around new customers. I would recommend you're looking at new customers if A, you want some really rapid growth.
Yes.
B, if you're in a market that is experiencing explosive growth and you're in a bit of a race, right, where you know that the war to win customers is here right now, but the battle's not going to last forever, right? So you don't want to miss the boat.
Yeah, you've got to be quick on that.
Yeah. If you've got a proven way to generate leads, if you've got a way that you know works for you that generates leads.
So important to know where, and one of the things I get with my clients is I get them to do mapping. Where did your people come from?
Yeah.
How did you get here? Sure, you've made 200,000, $500,000. How did you get here though? Yeah. What does that look like? Yeah. Double down on that activity.
That's it. Scale, double down. That's exactly the words I use, right? But first you've got to know where that is.
Yeah.
So absolutely. Another business where you're putting on new salespeople, right? For me, that's a great way to grow new customers because you've got a whole new database for them to tap into, right? But really importantly is if you are putting on those new salespeople and you wanted to grow revenue fast, right, you need to make sure you're hiring hunters, not farmers.
Yeah.
Right. Next piece there is if we've got a really clear sales process that we know is scalable, i.e. if the business is reliant just on a founder, right, or a key person to generate sales, it's going to be a lot harder to generate new business because you've got one of them. Where you've got a team that you can spread across, you're certainly able to do that.
Yeah, and you have to do that one-to-many. For some of our listeners, we know that you won't be in a situation to go and hire that sales team yet or do that.
Yeah.
That's where things like webinars become really helpful. Networking events where you're not having that one-to-one conversation. You're talking to up to 100 people.
Yeah. And look, let's write down that we'll do a podcast in the future around the best ways to generate leads, right? I'll go through the top 30 that I have. I think that's great for businesses.
If you think I'm listening to 30 in one episode, you are. I think we can break it into 2 episodes.
Well, you know what? I'm going to do a solo episode, everyone, because I reckon I can post.
It's just me in the corner crying because I'm not allowed to play today. Great, love that.
Then you can do it.
All right.
Next piece. So that's growing your revenue. Number one is through new customers. Now, I will say there's a little bit of common sense behind this, but the perspective I'm trying to add today is when I'd recommend you focus on it. Because for many businesses, when you hear the word growth, they automatically think new customers. I've got to fire into new customers. What I want to talk about today is that it is absolutely not the only way you can do that.
Oh, yeah.
Number 2 and 3 are the areas I find that businesses don't focus on enough, and they're the bits I want to spend some time on. And number 2 is around getting more from existing customers.
Yes.
Now, what I want you to picture here is that you've got a customer that you're working with across a contracted period. You've got your customers that are transacting with you. They might not be transacting with you right now, but as customers come through the door and are transacting with you, right, that you can increase their amount of spend with your business, right? Or you've got customers that are dealing with you right now that could be taking on more of your product services, right?
Yeah.
So think active customers. Think customers you're dealing with right now or over an extended period, or think customers that you will be dealing with as they come into the business, right? So it's not the acquisition of the new customer, but it's how we get these customers to spend more at the time with us. If you're looking to grow your revenue lines by 5, 10, 20, even 30%, this is a terrific opportunity to do things like offer expanded products, i.e. they can come in and buy more products from you, right?
Yeah.
Or, there might be a promotion to trade up into a higher value product. There might be some bundling. There might be some extended warranty terms, right?
Yeah.
Perhaps paying for servicing up front. Perhaps there's some performance guarantees. They can pay a little bit more for that. They can pay more for some type of cleaning, if it's a product that needs to be regularly cleaned, right? If you're an electrician and you're setting up a whole new smoke alarm system, or you're setting up some lighting or some fans, right? You can throw in that you're going to come back and I'm going to use this as an example, right? If you're an electrician, you can come back and
I'm watching Ben just look around the room and be like, we have a smoke detector, we have a fan, we have a light. Excellent.
We have an air conditioner, right?
Yeah,
you can say, right, I'm going to put you on a servicing program where I come and check all of these once a year. I check all 4 at once. That's going to cost you this much, right? You don't have to get in separate trades. You can talk about upgrading power points. You can talk about upgrading if they've got an intercom system, right? If they've got garage doors with a beeper, if they've got anything that's electrical, right? When your team's in there, you're training them to upsell. Yeah. And in fact, the electricians I work with, it is one of the big things we work on is around training your team to look for those upsell opportunities.
Yeah, understood.
Right? So getting more from your existing customers is simply about adjusting your mindset. So that when they're there with you, you're seeking more opportunities. You're almost re-qualifying your customer at the time of purchase. Hey, it's fantastic. Thank you very much for engaging with our business to install, it's one I've done a lot, solar panels, right? Do we need to look at storage?
Yeah.
Right? Do we need to look at, can we increase your system size? Do you need some hot water heat pumps? Is there anything else we can, EV chargers, right? You start to really think about how you can upsell on that product.
And I think the mindset part here is really interesting because not only are you seeking the opportunity, but you have to, the mindset that I think people get really stuck on is they don't recognize you're actually trying to help the person. So people sometimes don't know what they don't know, as we've absolutely discussed here. Sometimes there is a moment where you have to go, we're happy to upgrade your system here, but actually the amount of electricity that is going to go through this box is just not going to contain enough. We would actually recommend you go to the next one. Your power bill will go down more. This will happen. This will change. Like you will have the additional add-ons that you're talking about are actually beneficial to the customer in the long run and not just to grab the cash. And I think changing the way we think about that of you're actually adding more value. And if it's a service-based business, you're actually going to be doing more for them. Yes, there is going to be money hitting your pockets, but that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're of the mindset that you're creating that value, then you're on a winner. And when we talk about service businesses, I know for me that businesses get the most value from me very early. We get some instant wins normally early on.
Yeah.
And then in my second engagement, right, I normally structure my programs so they're quite chunky because my second engagement is when we get enough time to have rolled out improvements, right, in addition to the sugar hit. So if you're a service business, really understanding where you're adding your value and how you can quantify that, right, that helps to grow your revenue through your existing customer base.
Yeah, amazing.
So for me, I would just so strongly encourage businesses out there to look at the customers you're working with now or look at customers as they do come through your funnel and see how you can provide them more value and get more revenue from them. Because if every second customer spends 15 to 20% more with you, you're going to grow your business between 7.5% and 10% a year. No new customer growth.
Yeah.
Right? Just by every second customer spending a little bit more money with you, boom, away you go.
Incredible.
Right? You don't have to spend marketing money. You don't need new salespeople. There's no extra fixed
You don't
cost.
have to do the social media posts. You don't have to plan. You don't have to go to other events. That's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, the impact is likely a bit lower than new customer acquisition. But it's so much cheaper.
Yeah, great.
All right. Do you want to hear the third way?
Bring it. Let's go.
I promise there's not 30 today, just 3. The third way, now this is my favourite for established businesses. You've got a bit of a track record behind you, you've dealt with customers before. That is one of a couple of areas. One is previous customers coming back to you.
Oh, retargeting someone that's already spent $1. Love it.
Yeah. So previous customers that have come back to you, customers that didn't go ahead with you, so inertia customers, and customers who went with someone else at that time.
I love that. We get a lot of the previously worked with someone else and they come back and they go, oh, should have come with you. Yes. Yeah. So we get great results.
Yeah. Now, and please, if this next bit, if you don't have the next bit, I want you to keep listening because I'll talk about how you can impact that. But where you have a database, this is where this works, right? Most businesses that have been around for a period of time have now implemented a CRM or an Excel spreadsheet of customers are sorted, or at the very least, your financial system has the details of all of your customers in there, right? All your previous transaction history has it in there. It's working those databases with nurturing campaigns, right? Just go and set up. HubSpot's free. Go High Level's very low cost, right? Just go and look at those two systems on their own.
Oh, if you need really cheap and free and just to send out nurturing sequences, blog posts, checking in ones, MailChimp is free. Like, it is so easy to do.
Yeah. MailChimp will work with HubSpot.
Yeah.
And I believe it works with Go High Level. I'm actually looking at rolling out Go High Level for my business, right? For example, and I've been on HubSpot for a very long period of time. But just nurturing to these customers with offers and being upfront and in their face is really important. And I'll give you an example would be, let's look at, and I've used this before, as a couch, right? So we've just renovated. We have a couch in one room. In the other room, we want to have the same style of couch, right? So now for us, we can find a similar style couch through many different operators. If the people that had sold us that couch were consistently nurturing with us, we would have gone back to them. Right?
In a heartbeat, yeah.
In a heartbeat, right? Instead, we've actually gone out and had a look at all different types of couch providers, and we'll end up where we end up.
I bought an outdoor setting, speaking of couches, I bought an outdoor setting during the pandemic in Melbourne, and I was stuck in my apartment. I had a beautiful, huge courtyard. And so I put a big outdoor setting there. That was from a company called Temple & Webster. And without fail, every new piece of furniture I've bought has been through them. They sent me 2-3 emails a week.
Be consistent on it. Yeah.
I can get a sideboard for my new apartment anywhere.
Yeah.
But you better believe that I love the quality of their stuff. Everything is still going.
Yeah.
It's still the best.
Yeah. And this applies to service businesses.
They just keep going, excuse me. Excuse me. Do you want no, you've just got this business going. Excuse me, I'm still here. Of course you're going to go and buy from them later.
I was thinking you were getting upset at me. But as Jemimah's tapping me on the elbow, which you've never done, fundamentally agree, right?
Yeah.
Persistence beats resistance, right? You just got to
every time
being in the right place at the right time with the right offer. Yeah. So let's just continue on that. I'll often hear service-based businesses say, well, hang on, how does this apply to me? And you're a real estate agent, you're a mortgage broker, you're a lawyer who's done wills, you're a dentist who's done your checkup, you're a GP who's getting flu vaccines out, you're a plumber who's saying, storm season approaching, right? We had that when we had the recent Cyclone Alfred come through, right? And a classic example here is a real estate agent. So we bought our house up here in Noosa, our previous house here, and we bought it from a real estate agent, really lovely guy. Had a lot of time for him, and he really helped us during the process. And he followed us up a couple of times post. And I said to him, and I won't say his name, I said, hey, Mr. Real Estate Agent, stay in touch, right? I don't mind if you call me every few months and just check in, because there'll come a time when we sell here and move someone else. He didn't keep in touch.
Ooh.
Sure enough. And real estate agents, right, you guys are normally pretty good at the sales game when you've got the property. Oh, my God, right, keep working just as hard when you haven't got the property, because if he had, he probably would have got our property to sell again.
Yeah.
But he didn't, right? Because I hadn't heard from him, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go out and test the market.
Yeah.
So when we're in service-based businesses, regularly fronting up again to our customers, even just to say hello, is so unbelievably important and can make such a difference, right, to when you get that next business. Because most people, in my experience, they won't buy something just once. You'll do your will, then you'll upgrade it. Furniture, you'll upgrade. Services in your home, you'll upgrade. As a business, you'll depreciate your furniture, you'll depreciate your equipment, right? You'll depreciate whatever you have within your business, and then you'll upgrade it, right? You'll get more staff, right? You'll move premises. You'll have different products, so you'll need different type of marketing services.
Yeah.
Right? Most consumers, B2B or B2C, will be repeat purchases within reason, right? And if they're not repurchasing that exact product, they'll be repurchasing something that's perhaps in the same family of products that you offer. Right?
What's your next offering? What's the extra stuff they can do? What are the extra add-ons?
Yeah, exactly right. And I can tell you right now that I have seen businesses grow double-digit percentage across a year just from remarketing, retargeting their previous one customers, their inertia customers, and customers that purchased from someone else that have decided they want to come to you this time.
And then regretted their decision, obviously, because you're the best.
Well, yeah, or that business, moved, or it went out of business, or they decided that, you were the best, right? Fantastic. So for me, that's the three ways. Obviously, remarketing to aged customers is also very cheap and can move the dial pretty well. So for me, coming out of today, in fact, maybe perhaps for you, it's what's your nugget from today?
Immediately while you were talking about this, I was like, we've got to double down on the activity as we want to do a bit of a influx for the next couple of months. What activity has previously worked and really doubling down on that. But I think really hitting the people who maybe didn't buy but could have. I think we really do ignore those a little bit, going, it wasn't for you. And we don't know their circumstances. We don't know what's happened, family situations, what's happened, what their cash flow was. We should be retargeting.
Yeah, absolutely. Good. Excellent. For me, I think my message is take 10 minutes, sit down. If you're a leader of a business, if you're a leader of a sales and marketing team, whatever it may be, just have a look at those three areas and see where you can move the dial right now. I know revenue growth is hot on the agenda. Last year or 2 years ago was getting the most out of people. Last year was around stabilising businesses and starting to grow revenue. This year, I think it's all about expanding again on that revenue growth and managing costs.
Love
They're
that.
the themes I'm seeing. So just spend some time, sit down and see what you can do to impact your business across those areas.
Yeah, amazing.
And if you're stuck, get in touch with you.
Reach out. Goodness, go check out Ben's resource page.
Yeah, thank you. Or Friends in Business, right? Our podcast, right? We got 10,000 plus people on Instagram following us, right? Start a conversation there. Whatever you'd like to do, we're absolutely here to help you. But if we don't hear from you, we will see you again in 1 week's time. Bye for now.
See you guys.
I've been tried and I've been tested.
Thank you for listening to the Friends in Business podcast. This episode was brought to you by your hosts, Ben Wright and Jemimah Ashleigh, recorded in beautiful Noosa, Queensland. For more insights and resources, visit Ben at strongersalesteams.com and Jemimah at jemimahashleigh.com. If today's podcast has helped you, we'd be so grateful if you could leave a review and share with someone you know. This will help more people in the world benefit from the hard work we're putting in to bring you the best content we possibly can.